you want a forklift?
Yeah, yeah.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a
Hey.
tutti.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the AJC huge match day. All right, the return match between Juventus and Napoli going down in Turin today. And yes, can we get revenge? We will see. We will see. Lucci's got some thoughts on the projected started lineup here that we'll go over. We're going to go over both teams' form coming into this game. And yeah, maybe, just maybe, Juve's looking a little bit further beyond, but we will see what happens, and we'll see how everybody feels in the live chat as well. Right out of the gate, we're going to say what's up to Jeremiah, and he says, hey guys, huge game. We've got to beat them as they are there for the taking. Come on, Rabiot. There you go. Ciao, AJC coming in from Anthony. And then if Rabiot has a good performance today, we need to renew his contract. All right, all right. So Forza Juve coming in with that one. This is, yeah, everybody's got... well, there's 2 out of 3 comments already with Rabiot in there, and Rabiot's been big for Juve, no doubt. Nobody can really deny it anymore. It was funny because at the start of the year when I was like, hey man, he's playing good, or not start, but once we started rolling, and it's like, Rabiot's doing good, he's doing good. Everybody's like, he'll just drop down. He'll just drop down again. But here we are deep into the season, and he's still been arguably our best player. He's our leading goal scorer, which tells you all you need to know about offensively what Juventus has been able to do. But real quick, Lucci, your thoughts on Rabiot and where you've gone with him through the season, and are you at a point where some fans are saying, yes, give him the money? Where are you at?
Man, I think for me, and I've seen this before, I've mentioned it before, he's had one good season, and no doubt he's been our best player, no question. But can you really afford to pay a player $10+ million on one good season? He hasn't proven it over the course of 3 years he's been here. So for me, unless he comes down in what he's asking, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I just can't wrap my head around that money. There, if we were supposed to be trying to set a precedent at the upper echelon of players, and then all of a sudden throw him in there too, it kind of starts to throw everything out of whack again. So for me, it's too much. But
Yep.
we'll see what happens in the off season with the crazy horse there. But let's see what's going on. Dom coming in here. Win gets us into second in the table. Let's go for the 3 points. Well, yeah, let's get revenge on these guys too. And talking about them being ripe for the picking type things, like Jeremiah was saying right out of the hop there. Napoli has failed to win their last failed to win 3 of their last 6 league games. Sorry, excuse me for that one. They are going to be without the services, well, supposedly without services of Mario Rui, Politano, and Simeone. But I think one of those guys is game time decision, but we'll see what happens. They do get a boost from the Korean monster coming back in. Same with Anguissa and Dembele back from suspension. Romani is expected to be fit for this match, but not expected to start. It'll be interesting to see what goes down there. 4-3-3 from Napoli. You know what you're going to get, but up top, it's probably going to be Lozano, Osimhen, and Kvaratskhelia for them. In the middle, again, Anguissa's back, Lobotka, Zielinski. And across the back, the Korean Monsters back is the big one. Di Lorenzo, Oliveira, and then Merit in there. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. They played so good against the first time, but we played awful. How much of it, going back to that, okay, going back to that first match with them, I know it's tough to think about and go back there, but how much do you put on Napoli being good and Juve just really, really shitting the bed in that first game?
I think that was probably one of our worst games of the season, and we've had some bad ones, so that says a lot. Like Bremer was a disaster that one. So I think that's just more on us being bad. Like we probably still would have lost even if we were playing well, but the scoreline would have been a little more respectable.
Yeah, like I can't help but looking back at that game, and regardless of, where we're at, everything like that, and what was going on, that was so bad, like performance wise, in so many different ways, and even individuals when our team play has been bad. Like a Bremer has never been like that, and he hasn't been like that since. And again, it kind of plays into the whole notion that it's from game to game which Juventus is going to show up, which Juve are you going to get, and we can be our own worst enemy. So today
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens. We're going to talk about Juve, essentially the big ones going into this game were what was Max Allegri going to do. And in typical Max Allegri fashion in the press conference, he says nothing and he gives you nothing about the starting lineup. Absolutely nothing. We know how much he likes to keep that to himself and whatnot. But the big things for us were Bremer avoiding injury. Okay, but still was on the cusp if he was going to start or not, but he did avoid injury. Chiesa played full 90, and Max said, I got to see how he's recovered from there. And that kind of right there alone, it warrants a couple of changes, couple of
Mm-hmm.
big changes. Di Maria, all year, we've kind of been, taking it easy, and they've always said like we've got to monitor him. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like even when he doesn't have anything actually listed, he's got to be monitored and be watched. And I see Sweater, yes, 78 minutes, but Max in his presser said he's played 90, full 90, whatever. So again, Max says things sometimes that are out there. It's all good. Probable 11 for this one for Juventus that has people questioning where our priorities are. Obviously, we've got the second leg of the Coppa Italia semifinal, whatnot, but it's Szczesny, Gatti, Rugani, Danilo, Quadrado, Miretti, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic, Sule, and Milik in a 3-5-1-1. This is according to, of course, Giovanni Albanese, who actually has been money on the lineups for
Mm-hmm.
quite some time now. Um, let's get your thoughts on this one right out of the gate. Everybody in the live chat, let us know what you think about that projected lineup. And we're going to kind of tackle this one and see how we feel about it. Lucci.
Well, this is a tough one because we don't know if Bremer's fit enough to start. So when you think of that, okay, I guess Rugani makes sense because Sandro's not going to play again. He played the full 90 against Sporting on Thursday. I'm fine with Moretti starting. I know he's kind of fallen off a bit. Maybe he's played, needs a bit of a rest, so I'm okay with that. And the whole thing last weekend with at Sassuolo. Um, yeah, the one I'm just really surprised is Sule. He doesn't have like Max hasn't shown much faith in him playing, a couple cameos here and there. He started maybe one or two other matches against some lower teams. I mean, if he's our only option, I'm Keane's still hurt. I'm pretty sure he's not available. Di Maria full 90, Chiesa 78, like you guys mentioned. So I guess it's your only option. Ugh, I don't
An
know. I don't know.
STD for the eyeballs, according to Anthony.
Wow. Okay.
Jesus.
And he's
Uh,
and he's the one with a family, and he speaks like that. Unbelievable.
yeah.
Weird guy.
Horrible lineup from Animesh, saying that is a horrible lineup. Jeremiah saying all season long, Max has given us the excuse of waiting for star players to return. He has them now and still can't get the best out of them. And in this one, it's probably going to go away from them. So I'm going to go a different route and just look at this kind of piece by piece.
Hmm.
And we'll see if anybody kind of is thinking that way or changes kind of how they see things. But if you go across the back line, Gatti, Rugani, Danilo, Quadrado is listed as the outside player on the right. But I mean, maybe, just maybe, do we go with a 4-3-3 and potentially Sule's playing on a right side, Kostic playing on a left side? Maybe. I doubt it. I personally doubt it. And that's a whole nother question that we'll probably get to is, do you play Napoli in a 3-5-1-1 again, as we did earlier on in the season? But that's another question. But just going across the back line, Gatti, Rugani, Danilo. Bremer avoided injury, but we don't know if it's completely good to go. Like there's still a question mark there. Okay. The other thing is, even if you're looking from a simple rotation part of things, okay, if you're going to get out of rotation, Rugani is only capable of playing in the heart there of the defense. So if you wanted to play him and and Bremer, you wouldn't be able to do that because you don't want to slide Bremer out from the heart. If Bremer's in, Bremer is locked in right in the middle of the center backs, period. And that's where he needs to be. So even for that sake, I think Bremer, we could probably excuse what's going on at the back because we want Bremer fit for the bigger ones.
Yep.
You know, and not to say this isn't a big game because it is, but would you rather him be good to go in the Europa League and completely healed up? And even that semifinal with Inter.
Yeah.
If you had to pick out of those games, which ones would you choose to have him fit for?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking midweek for sure.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I see it going on there. In the midfield, if we go Quadrado, Miretti, Locatelli, Rabiot, and Kostic. The big one now, again, is Fagioli's out and Miretti's in. But is that drastic going across the middle?
For me, no.
For me, it isn't either.
No.
And this is not a knock on Fagioli whatsoever, but Miretti looked really good last game.
He did.
I thought he did some great work, great hustle, was making good runs. I have no issues there with that.
I think it was one of his best games, to be honest, for us
Yeah.
this season.
I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah.
No issues there. At the top, Sule and Milik. We've all spent a ton of time talking about Dusan Vlahovic. He's going with Milik, which it is what it is. For me, it comes down to what happens around Milik and then Sule. Sule is probably the only two pieces out of this lineup that everybody, can get fired up for immediately for come down to Rugani and Sule. And I don't know, that's not that crazy. Chiesa, that's the first stint he's had started and played deep into a game. And Di Maria's got to be monitored. Is what it is, man. But yeah, you could probably say there's a little bit more focus on that midweek with Inter.
Yes. I do find it funny though that if this does turn out to be the lineup, that we see Rugani ahead of Bonucci. Like buddy, hang him up. That's a shot. Like how do you come back from that?
Bonucci and hey, this was earlier on in the year. We were seeing them coming, and it was done. It was done, man. Like just became quickly a liability, man. You just can't do it. You can't do it, and it was showing up all over the place. And hang him up. I don't think he is going to. Not this season.
If you're getting paid for another season, why would you hang him up and not get paid?
Juve and regenerating, like refreshing the roster and everything is going to have to make some serious decisions. But Bonucci has found himself being essentially a bench boss, a bench captain. He is the Pinsolio of our our defense. And that's what it's come down to. So is what it is. Interesting enough, Romeo Gresti says coaching is probably in the guy's future, and he's got all the characteristics and traits to do it and whatnot. But as far as playing, yeah, you're at a point now where he's definitely lower on the totem pole at the back, and if he's gonna play, it's got to be against weak opposition. And
Yes.
to say for him to dig himself out of that, I don't even see it happening. I don't think it's going to happen. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Juve, Napoli, this is going to be crazy one. I am going to be doing a live watch along, everybody. All right. So hopefully I see you there. Let me be your commentator for this one. I hope it goes completely different than the first one. Everybody who toughed it out with me through the first one, credit where it's due, and we all get to ride that one out together. And yeah, some good bonding moments there. Just like all of us Juventini with Champions League finals, whatever, we can always have that together at least. But hopefully today we have some good stuff to celebrate. We are going to get into key stats for this one, but then we'll kind of go away before we drop our actual predictions. We're going to wait a little bit later on the show for the actual predictions. But Juve, obviously a strong historical record against Napoli, winning 86 out of the 186 matches played between them. Napoli having less than half that with 42 victories. We remember what happened in the last fixture. This would be the fourth time in history Napoli secured a double over Juve in the league over matches and whatnot. So hopefully Juventus avoids that today. And again, Juve as well, when we're talking about current form and stuff, recent matches against Napoli, one of their last 6 encounters. That's how many Juve's won over Napoli. 1 out of the last 6. Hey, let's get that second one here. Let's get the second one today. But Juve, dominant at home against Napoli in recent years throughout that, though. Remaining unbeaten in 11 of the last 12 matches against them in Serie A. Only loss occurred in 2018 in that stretch of 12 games unbeaten or 11 unbeaten at home against Napoli. And Napoli, well, we talked about them failing to win 3 of their last 6 matches in Serie A, and we'll see what happens. Are they starting to crumble? Obviously, they've been eliminated out of the Champions League, and it feels like it's just, going through the motions now until they're crowned and whatnot. Yeah. But I would absolutely love nothing more than a catastrophic failure on their part and just absolutely crumble. The problem is there's nobody close enough, and there hasn't been somebody close enough to have that pressure on them. And this is one of the things I had all season long. It drove me crazy about the whole decision with the 15 points and everything like that, is you really start to affect the integrity of the league and everything that's going on and the current race, because you've essentially removed any pressure that was there or whatever. And that question will always remain. Are they able to do it with somebody riding their ass and being there for the pressure? Nobody's going to know. But if they actually bottled it from here, oh my God,
could you imagine the 4 fans of Lazio and the 5 fans of Napoli going head to head if it was tight? That would be awesome.
Oh my God, man. It would be epic. It's not something obviously any of us expect to happen or not, but it is kind of nonsense when you start talking about the penalty again. Everybody got their hopes up with the penalty coming back, 15 points back, but they're just going to reformulate, and probably the rumors we're getting are come back with 9 points. Juve will then appeal again, and the circle goes on and on and on. In the recent news, we've heard about Lukaku and Gravina essentially overruling everyone and saying no, he's going to be in the game for the semifinal second leg Coppa Italia against Juventus. To be honest, and let's get your thoughts on it. You talk about your thoughts, and I'll get into mine on that whole thing.
It's just like the back and forth. It just makes us look like a bunch of, like, the whole league looks like a bunch of clowns. It's embarrassing. And I have no issues with Lukaku being there. I think that's probably the right decision anyway. So, fun. Go for it. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I mean, when we look back to the moment and everything that went down there, and with the racist chants and everything like that, his celly, and I thought there had to be more because we saw that the altercations that the players were getting into and whatnot. I thought there had to be something more that happened than just what he did, which was stand there and do that celebration. And there wasn't. And when you factor in the racist chants he was facing, it's pretty harsh. It's a pretty harsh decision to make. Now, it's been wild, and people have been fighting this fight. I don't want to get too much into this because it's such a touchy subject, but per rule, okay, by rule, if you are provoking or whatnot and towards fans and gesturing, it is a caution period, and people are taking that stand. And others are saying, look, there's racist chants involved. That's what he's reacting to. So you have to move away from the rule. I'm not going to get into that too deeply because that's a tough fight when somebody's facing racist chants and whatnot. So I think rules, it's hard to be a stickler for rules when we're talking about racism. And the league actually has racism protocols across all the stadiums and stuff. I'm surprised that didn't come into play in that game. It has to be initiated by the referee. So it's really strange what was going on there and what was happening and why the ref didn't initiate in Turin the racism protocol and get them to go through that, put it over the PA and whatnot, and threaten to stop the game. He allowed that game to get to a very, very dangerous boiling point. It was crazy that it even continued further beyond that. And then you got into the Handanovic Quadrado scuffle and everything. So as far as all that goes, you can't be a stickler for rules when we're talking about racism. So it is what it is. For Gravina to step in here and get into that. First of all, Juventus has won the appeal and the whole sector is open and free. So we're not facing the ban today's game. Okay. Right. Lukaku should be playing in that one because I do believe it was harsh when looking back and seeing there's not anything else that was into play. It was literally just that celebration that he got cautioned for. Yeah. The problem here for me, this is where the problem lies for me, is the fact that, like Lucci said, makes the league look like a friggin' joke because they stood by the decision originally. They said the referee was correct in cautioning him there. They were absolutely right to do so. And then now you have them backing it up. Okay, this is after they have already said what they did is right. That was the right call on Lukaku, which we already kind of feel wasn't. Then they back up the appeal and they say, no, he's out, whatever. And then Gravina comes in and says, no, he's going to be in for this game. So it's just a whole shit show. Even when they make correct decisions, whether the decisions they make are correct or wrong, it's how they go about it that makes them look like an absolute joke. Yep. No structure, no organization, and everything they do, it seems to feel like it's due to public like outcry. And this kind of goes into it with me when it comes to Juventus. And what did I say earlier on the season? And what have I been saying for a long time now? This whole anti-Juve thing gets fueled by the FIGC and how they operate and how they do things. Witch hunt after witch hunt after witch hunt. They allow all this crap and this narrative to go down without shutting it down. So they are a major component into the whole narrative and agenda against Juventus. It's the FIGC. Make no mistake about it. When they make stupid decisions, stupid things like this, and they play into all that, they're allowing it to happen. That's been my thing all season long, and I've been pretty vocal about it. But Lucci, what do you think?
I just again coming back to the whole the racism problems, the minus 15 points. Like we gotta get this league. Well, not the people in charge of this league really need to sit down and get their shit together because they're making us every team look like a joke. It doesn't look like, and how are you going to promote the league when you're doing this thing, these things mid-season and going back on your previous decisions and then standing by it and then changing it? Like, it's just a mess. Like, you don't see any other league do this mid-season, or you hear all the information before a decision's actually made. Like, I think someone mentioned last week or a couple weeks ago about the whole thing with Man City getting charged for FFP or something with the EPL. Like, all that stuff is kept behind closed doors. No one knows what's going on, and it's not happening, mid-season. Like, that's how it should be done. Like,
Yeah.
keep it professional, because now, like, how are you going to get investors or broadcasting rights when you're just like, well, look at this league. It's a goddamn joke. Like, it's just run by people that don't even know what's going on in this world. It's a mess. So I don't know.
It,
I just hope they get it together.
it is a mess. Aldo coming in here saying, I don't care that Lukaku was pardoned. What I hate is the one-sided media making a scene about Juve's Curva closure being overturned without pointing out that the guilty individuals will be punished. One of the things I hate the most is that, look, if you watch that video, you can tell, okay? But I hate this narrative that's being pushed out there that it was the majority of the curva, and it was like thousands of people making the racist chat. No, it clearly wasn't that, and you can tell by the video. You could tell in the video that it was a very, very select few out of the curva. If you had the majority of the curva making those chants, do you know how loud that would be?
Mm-hmm.
There's no chance that it was like that. But again, the words that they choose to use, how they try to make a scene out of this. And I will remind everybody, crickets, absolute crickets on Quadrado's racism that he faced in Lazio the next friggin' game. And I don't see any outrage over the Napoli fans that were giving it to Rafael Leao while he's trying to get into the bus for AC Milan. Where's all the outrage? Where's all the outrage, everybody? Where is it? Nowhere to be found. Why? Amici di nessuno. Us against the world, baby. Always has been, always will be. It's absolute ridiculous. The biggest shame in all of this is that it's racism in 2023 that we're talking about, and they still want to tie it into club allegiances and everything and make a big deal only when, of course, Juve are those involved. Absolutely ridiculous. And again, what will come of and Lazio has already had multiple incidents this season. Okay, so it's absolutely insane. They did it visiting. Their visiting sector did it against Lecce. Umtiti and Benda ended up in tears in that game, walking out there, and it took the rest of the Lecce supporters to overcome the chants and start to yell out the players' names. It's disgusting and it's embarrassing when we're talking about that. But that's how I feel about that whole thing going down. Now, keeping in news, certain recent news, whatever. Obviously, sporting director Juventus has to find one. We have to bring one in. Giuntoli is being linked. This is the first time we've seen one of the bigger guys, because Nicola Schira was the one reporting this. This is the first time we've got that said that, hey, look, Giuntoli is the guy Juve is going essentially all in on and trying to lure over. He's been in Napoli 8 years. He has got one more year on his contract. Lucci, Giuntoli, is that the guy?
I mean, he's done some good work, clearly. He's found some gems out of, different leagues for, relatively low cost and everything, but do we really think he's going to join Juve, being at Napoli so long? Is that something he's really interested in doing? I have trouble seeing it if he is a true Napoli, fan, supporter, whatever. Um, I don't know. If it happens, great. But for some reason, I just don't see it happening. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a list of names, obviously, for sporting director and whatnot. And Gintoli, there's some that just say why him? He hasn't done much in 8 years or whatever. And again, I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't know. If I'm looking at Gintoli and whatnot, I actually do think he's probably one of the better ones out of the list that we have. There was a couple guys that ended up going away that I would have wanted, but those options have kind of faded now. Gintoli, um, I don't mind it. I mean, if we look at Napoli and what he's been doing, he's been working pretty methodically. I mean, the numbers have been good for Napoli, and he's been able to find some good deals and some good talents. My thoughts are, though, he's got one more year on his contract. That's going to be tough to break. That's kind of the deal breaker right there. Juve can't wait another entire season without a sporting director. That's
Hmm.
just not, it just can't happen. So for that reason, I'm going to say that it's not going to happen. But if there was a way that he could break through, if he wanted to come over and do this, then that would be big for me. I think Gintoli would be a good, solid sporting director for Juventus to bring in. However, I just don't think it's going to happen. And again, another point here, De
Yes,
Laurentiis will do everything in his power to prevent
I
this. I
agree
could
with
see
that.
that as well. And the fact he's got another year on contract. There's a number of reasons for it, but
Who's option number two?
there was Gintoli. There was Mana. There's another. I'll dig them up, but
Like anyone we would really strongly consider that would do well, or we're just kind of taking picking names out of a hat here and see see who we can sign.
the nice thing is that these guys are all actual, like, can be actual directions. Gintoli's probably got the better line of work here. There was
Hmm.
Campos was one that I would have done
Oh yes.
everything to get into Juve, but we know that that ship has sailed now. This is another rumor that popped up here, which was Trez. Okay, Trezeguet and Trezeguet as a sporting director, absolutely not. Absolutely not, because he hasn't even done it yet and whatnot. But he is rumored to be coming in into some form, some capacity. He was ambassador at Juve a while ago. There'd probably be that. Carnevale, everybody's bringing up
Oh
Carnevale from
yes, that's the other one.
Sassuolo and whatnot. His name hasn't been linked as much anymore, but he should be considered in the mix as well. I think that's a good route too. I think Carnevale's a good shout as well. But I don't know. I don't know. Right now, look, it's almost at a point where we just need a goddamn proper sporting
The
director,
real one.
period, no matter
Yeah.
who it is. And it's almost going to become to a point where we can't necessarily be picky about it. We got to get a guy and get him in that seat. I can't see them wanting to wait until all these legal issues and everything are settled when it comes to sporting director. We know that what we're hearing about Alessandro Del Piero and him potentially coming back and being with the team in some type of capacity, but not happening until all this is cleared up. I don't think that's the case for sporting director, and it can't be the case for sporting director, right, Luch?
Yeah, I think so. But now that I'm thinking about it, if we like this summer, if we have obviously we're not gonna have too much money to spend depending on who's in and out. A few loans, probably some small purchases. And I know Anthony mentioned this before, so I'm kind of gonna piggyback on that. Maybe they do wait another year and wait till his contract's up because think about it. I don't see this being a busy summer. Maybe they can do it without having an actual sporting director, and
Yeah.
then I don't know. We of course we have lots of work to do, and we'll see with Max. The whole situation with Max and all the other, whatever's going on behind the scenes. But I would like someone in there sooner rather than later. But that's just my preference.
Yeah. If you had to sign one, Koulibaly. So obviously Koulibaly rumors circulating today and coming out of seemingly nowhere, saying that Juventus is looking at him to try and bring him in to partner Bremer, looking for a loan deal with a nice purchase price and not obligation. If you could sign one, Koulibaly or SMS, who would you sign?
Oof. I mean, so I'm taking into consideration that Rabiot was leaving, so I'm going SMS. Also younger. And I prefer having a left-footed center back. I think we need a lefty, and I'm pretty sure Koulibaly is not left-footed.
Yeah. This is a tough one for me. It's a tough one for me. I mean, you've got you've got we got to have a proper top partnership for Bremer.
Mm-hmm.
Can Gatti get there? Potentially. But will he be there that quick? I don't know. Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. We've got a lot of midfielders. Got a lot of talent in the midfield as well. Pogba's health. I think I'm throwing out this season just out the window completely on Pogba. I want to see if he can get some type of continuity before we completely this could change my answer, because if Pogba can even find decent continuity, then I would definitely go Koulibaly.
Fair.
And that allows Gatti to be a solid option coming in there for rotation on both of them. Man, Sergei Milinkovic-Savic is a little down this season, but has been consistent throughout all his time too. It's tough.
Even in a down season, he's been good too.
Yeah,
still one of the best midfielders in the league.
Still a good season.
Yeah.
I'd probably lean towards Koulibaly, but again, it's all in the details, right? Because these would change based on wages, based on the deal, what it all stands for, right? So that could change, but I think finding that top partner for Bremer is massive for Juve. And in the midfield, I like our guys. I like Rovella coming back. There's some that are saying look out for him next year. That could be the breakout year for him. It could be. It could also not be. Just as easily, right? But Miretti, Fagioli, Locatelli, again, big one, continuity with Pogba, fingers crossed. But man, and the combination of the two, I can totally see this. Where Aldo's saying, I don't think the combination Pogba and SMS is good. To be honest,
I don't know. I think they're very different types of midfielders, though. In my opinion.
Yeah.
That's why I think SMS is more of the Rabiot-esque, gets up and down, good box to box, physical. Pogba's more the creative type, so he would be more your Fagioli-esque type of midfielder. I think they would complement each other fairly well.
I don't think Sergei Milinkovic-Savic is even the Rabiot-esque type. I mean, at least he hasn't been when they've played us anytime recently.
He dummied Sandro last game, so.
Sandro, man. We're talking about Sandro.
But
stop it. Now, when we're talking about Savage, the way he was used against us, in that creative role, and he fell flat on his face. He's not that
his
guy.
Type of game, yeah.
Then they just put him up in the area, try to use him as this big target guy, and he could create some issues there or whatnot. But I don't necessarily feel he's even the same there. But I don't know. It's weird. Rabiot's gotten beat for pace too, I think. And
I think so.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It'd be close.
I don't know.
Rabiot's got those long legs.
Rabiot pulls away from guys in the midfield pretty easily, actually, quite a bit. He's been solid, but that's a tough one. I'd probably lean towards Koulibaly. Now, talked about
not gonna happen.
Sporting director, obviously all that. Now the penalty points, 15. We're gonna come back with 9. Get this going. We're not expecting anything in terms of this season getting this wrapped up. So any point penalties or whatever, like as far as I'm concerned, that's it. Where we stand now with the points, that's where it's going to be. And the rest is up to our performances. There's 8 games left in the season. We will see what happens, but I don't expect anything further because Juventus is going to fight this until the end. Now, rightfully so. And they have to do that. And the reason they have to do that is because right now it's become a pissing match for precedence between Juve and the FIGC and obviously these prosecutors. It's a pissing match for precedence for the other cases. Salary maneuver case and all that. So don't expect this thing to get sealed anytime soon. Now, we are going to have some fun. We're going to get into Storm the Barn. Okay, so get any questions, everything you have in here now. If you guys haven't checked out the fun podcast I did with Justin from Bianconeri Zone and continued, so we've partnered up. We're going to have a lot of fun content between the 2 channels moving forward. And this was the second pod, and we just chose to do it on hot takes and unpopular opinions. But get all your questions in there right now for us, okay, for Storm the Barn. One of them was Paulo Dybala. And did Juventus make a mistake getting rid of Paulo Dybala? You'll have to tune into the show what it was, but there was a lot of good hot takes and unpopular opinions that we tackled. Real quick for me, though, a little bit of a spoiler. No, Juve didn't make a mistake. It's one of the things with Juve is you've got to look, like you can only look at what's going on with your team. But the reason I want to bring this up is when we're looking at Dusan Vlahovic, because I don't have any doubts that if this guy goes to another club, he's probably going to start, hitting the numbers and being where he needs to get. Like, I don't actually have that doubt. Do you?
No, he's got the talent. It's just, I don't know if it's a confidence thing or a head thing, but maybe a max thing. He's capable of doing things.
Yeah, and this is the thing. So even Edgar's saying Vlahovic has to be sold too. No mental strength. So I'm so torn on this because number one, if I'm looking at the state that Juve's in, the position that we're in, we're not in a position where we can necessarily say no to a big capital gain or a sell or like a sale of that value, right? If you're wanting to revamp and refresh in fullbacks and a couple other positions, that's probably the quickest and easiest way you can tackle a bunch of it outside of free transfers. Mm-hmm. So if you factor that in, based on what we're seeing with Vlahovic, probably leaning towards selling him if the offer comes in.
I mean, I agree, but I'm like, who's going to be starting every game? We're going to have Malik and Keane starting every game for us? Do we think that's a recipe for success?
Well, you're probably going to end up with, I would say, somebody young. Some young 9 coming in. And a young 9 that's been starting elsewhere probably is the route they're probably going to try to go, right? Or unless there's somebody out there that's not happy that they can kind of capitalize on and whatnot. But if I'm looking at this
is why I said Scamacca a few weeks ago. Watch.
Stop it.
Watch.
Now, here's the thing with Vlahovic that is frustrating for me, because if we look at when he first came in here and this season, it's night and day from an individual standpoint. Mm-hmm. Okay? Like, take the performances of the team, take all that out of the equation. If you go just pound for pound what he was doing, he looked a complete different player when he first came in here to now. Yeah. And it's night and day. The individual side of it isn't there. However, the team side of it leaves a lot to be desired. So for me, I think like it's a shame, because I think there's so much there. And I think we would be pulling the plug too soon if we made that move in the summer. However, I would totally understand why we would if a big offer came in, based on the situation and where we're at.
Right.
And I really dive deep in that podcast with Justin there and whatnot. But long story short, I think one of the reasons Juve finds itself in a bit of a predicament that we're in right now is because of the fact that we started stretching ourselves in terms of transfers and everything. And we're not the team to take shots on guys at that kind of money if they don't pan out,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And while people want to bring up the Higuain deal of 90 million and everything like that, well, were we really taking a stab at Higuain? The guy was scoring like crazy. Was that really taking a stab?
I mean,
I
you're
would
getting
say
this. No,
I would
you're
say
getting a
no.
certified scorer, man, for sure.
Yeah, like so with Vlahovic, we were taking a bit more of a risk because the thing is he hasn't reached his potential and
Hmm.
whatnot. And it's like, okay, what he's doing at Fiorentina is great, but there were still many that questioned it at that time. Said, whoa, that's a lot of money for this guy. And all he's doing is bagging a ton of penalties for Fiorentina. I don't see us being that team able to take that luxury on spending that kind of money because now all of a sudden we are acting as if we are in the place of these Prem teams
Hmm.
that can't afford to take those chances. The other thing that concerns me is that we're taking these chances, and how come, like, more often than not, as of late, our guys don't hit? Like, Kulishevsky looks a different player going out there, whatnot. Like, just that concerns me too.
Is
Because
it?
all of a sudden, if that keeps happening, you've got a major problem.
Yeah.
You've got a major problem.
Yeah. Is it pressure? Is it coaching? Is it the system? Is it the players around him? I don't like at some point or maybe previously I could blame the players around him because the team was probably not as good. I think the team has made a couple steps in the right direction. Like especially for Kulizeski, like he was in like didn't play consistently, whatever. Dusan, he's had his opportunities, and that's what worries me is that nothing's really changed. His posture, his attitude doesn't look promising or uplifting, and like if that continues, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it does. Yeah, it is a bit of everyone's fault for sure.
I think it's, yeah, a bit of everything. And that's why I just feel like it's a shame if we see
Yeah,
this guy go in the summer. However, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. But
I mean, sorry to cut you off. I see Luca's comment here. One common denominator coaches. I disagree. Like Chiesa, Quadrado, Ronaldo all had great seasons. Pirlo and C and whatever. Um, so you can't really blame the coach for all the players failing. Yeah, some players are going to be great, some are not gonna make it. I don't,
yeah,
you can only blame the coach so much. The coach is not out there making the plays and scoring goals. So
yeah. I I don't know. I don't know. And everybody, a few jumping in on the comments saying Kulu's not a good example, but it is a slight example because when he got there, obviously there was that flux and everything,
mhm,
that stimulus, that instant with Conte and whatnot. Right now, the Spurs in general, kind of a mess
they're a
how Conte
disaster.
left them and everything like that. So it's tough to gauge here, but it still represents a player that, we took another shot at, almost making 0 sense. Because when that move went down, I remember Lou and I getting into it specifically in our group chat because I specifically said, I don't understand why we're making this deal right now. Like it
Mm,
was early in a season, right around the halfway point or maybe just before it. And I'm like, what? Why are we're spending 40 on Kulu? Why? Like, why? We didn't even need that at the time. We had so many uncertainties, other positions that needed to be taken priority over that. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing
mhm.
here? It's painful. It's painful. But yeah, and there you go. Like I said though, Conte always he's been leaving teams worse off than when he gets there as of late, and that's a bad trend. Now, Marcus Thuram, I would love Marcus Thuram. He's on a free too, by the way. And there's going to be teams getting after this
Yes.
guy. I don't know if Juve's. I've only seen a couple times his name even mentioned with Juve, but that is a guy I would absolutely love. Luca's jumping in with his Hoyland. I'm going to be honest,
He's had what, half a good season? Like,
I'm
come
not
on.
not sold. I'm not sold. That's just me. Now, Swati, storm the bar. Potential right back options. Cancelo on loan for a year.
No.
No? On a
I
loan
think
for a
I
year?
think that ship's long sailed. And if Max stays, I don't see that being a healthy relationship.
I know, but I would do it. I would do it.
But Max wouldn't allow it.
Cancelo on one side, Grimaldo for free on the other, Cambiaso coming back to play him behind. Sandro just split his contract to 2 years, 3 million a year, and send him away anyways. Just say, okay, we'll bite the bullet and pay you, but we don't need you around. Quadrado's out the door.
See, you still got MDS around. He's signed.
Well, we can't get rid of them all in one shot, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Got to refresh the roster a bit, but Cancelo on loan for a year? Would anybody? Oh, man. Here we go. Cancelo is rubbish.
Oh, harsh.
A winger.
He is a defensive liability. That I can definitely agree with. And a bad attitude. Absolutely. Well
Yeah.
said, Aldo. Well said.
I'd still probably do it, though.
What about Single? That was a hot
I would
rumor for a
love
while.
Single.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love Single.
That's not going to be cheap, though. That's the only problem.
No. It won't. Why would you choose to start? Who would you choose to start almost every game? Fagioli versus Miretti.
Well, I'm wearing a Moretti kit right now, so I kind of got to pick my boy. I mean, they do offer different things, I find, and I think it depends on your opponent and how they set up. Moretti, I like, gets involved more in the attacking, runs at the defenders with the ball. I do like Fagioli's vision though a little better. I gotta stay loyal to Moretti and say Moretti. So,
Man. I gotta say, for me, I really like both of them. I like both of them. But I'm not, how do I say this? I'm not closed off on the idea of playing both of them in a midfield on either side of Locatelli. Like, I get it that we would want some balance. You want a physical person in there too and whatnot, but I see plenty of midfields that don't offer a ton of physicality, that succeed in their technical ability and their ball retention and the way they can play. I'm not closed off on the idea of playing both of these, to be
I'd
honest.
like to see that actually. I think that'd be
Because
quite interesting.
Miretti plays the role out of the Metsala completely different than
Yes.
Fagioli.
Yes.
And Miretti advances a ton, and he knows how to find space. He knows where to attack the space and whatnot. Fagioli is a little more
Methodical.
well, he's a little bit more always thinking support. And he's more trailing, and he's more at the back rather than playing on the front foot like Miretti. So I'm not closed off on the idea of, to be honest, playing both of them on either side of, and this would help both of our flank play and whatnot. And it's hard, but if I had to choose one to start almost every game, if they were interchanging positionally, which again, I don't see them both playing the same manner. The only reason we've even got to this point is because Rabiot's essentially a lock for this midfield. and being in there because he has been our best. And he's scored the most goals of anyone on this team. So he's a lock. That makes these two have to interchange, and that brings up this question. But I don't actually see them as changes in like for like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
If I had to, though, gun to my head, I probably would lean towards Fagioli just for you're not trading down a ton offensively and in the attack, but you're getting more defensively out of those two. And that's the only reason I give Fagioli the edge. However, Miretti created some good stuff for us offensively last game, and this team needs to score goals.
Yeah.
And Fagioli has trailed off quite a bit offensively in terms of creating and what he's doing and what he's pulling for the guys. So it's a very, very, it's not a landslide by any means. I think this is very, very close, to be honest. But I would lean towards Fagioli.
I could be wrong, but I think for the under 21s, they have played together at some point, maybe even multiple times. I would have to double check that, but I think that would be a good way to get some experience playing together. And then, coming over to Juve next season, maybe we do see them together. Well, then, you still got Pogba as well, depending on his fitness and stuff too. But I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I think it would be good to see both of them, to be honest, out there. I'd like to see it. Rovella. What about Rovella? There's some saying that he is going to be having a breakout season next season. I'm pumped on Rovella coming back. I didn't want him to go this season, to be honest. Said keep him around. Why not? I thought he looked good in the preseason. There was some that disagreed with me that said, no, he doesn't look good, whatnot. But
who said this?
I wasn't seeing it. I thought he looked really good. Every time he plays Monza, whatnot, he looks great. Injury concerns, his last one, I'm going to let slide because it was a knock. It was a knock on the ankle and whatnot, so I'm going to let that one slide. But bench, sell, play. Rovella, Miretti, Fagioli. These are always fun. This is a tough one too. Lucci, you go first.
Oh, man. Do we have to sell or can we loan? Is loan an option?
Bench, sell, play.
I mean, okay. Geez, man, I don't know. I like, you got to have Rovella in this midfield, whether it's on the bench or starting, just because he's different than all the other ones. He can cover Locatelli. His vision's good. He's good, pretty sound defensively. So I'm keeping him. I'd probably keep him on the bench just as an option.
Rovella bench. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm definitely gonna get heat for this because I don't even know if I trust myself on this one, but I'm starting Moretti and I'm selling Fagioli solely because we have players similar to what Fagioli is offering us. Like if you have Pogba who's fit every game, I'm assuming Fagioli's not going to be playing anyways. So that's how I'm looking at it.
I think the biggest thing here is, and this is funny about it all, is where everybody sees the highest ceiling out of those three players. Okay, who has the highest ceiling? For me, out of the ceiling and who has the highest, I would say it's between Rovella and Miretti for who has the highest ceiling. That is not a knock on Fagioli, everybody. It's just that I think Fagioli is very close to where we are going to end up. Yeah. I could be completely wrong on that, and I would be happy for that, okay? This is a hypothetical question. We would always like to keep all three. But I actually think Rovella and Miretti have the highest ceiling. I would be playing Rovella. I would be benching Fuck, that's tough. That's
I
tough. I can't.
know.
I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell Fajoli, man.
And
I
you
don't
still
want to sell
have
Fajoli.
you have Enzo, you have Hans Nicolucci, you have other options. So can't you sell those
Miretti's
guys
got the
first?
high. I think Miretti and Novella have the higher ceilings for sure. I think Miretti has the highest one out of all of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Miretti on my bench. Rovella's got. I'm playing Fagioli. I'm benching Miretti, and I'm selling Rovella.
Okay.
Rovella's got good value and stuff like that. It sucks, but you've got two guys with high ceilings. We got to cash
So
in on one.
Locatelli, has a season ending injury next season. Who's playing your holding midfielder role?
I'm available.
Oh, we're screwed then.
Yeah, right, man. Come on. Show some love. That's tough, man. That is a tough question. And again, we don't want to get rid of any of them, but
Yeah.
it's tough.
I
It's
think
tough.
I think they all stay. I think Hines is the one who's gonna eventually leave. Enzo, maybe. I don't know. He's looked okay, but
If
you
your
got
life
options.
depended on a penalty, Lucci, only Deshili or Quad
Jesus.
could take it. Who are you taking? That's an easy one. Come
I
on.
mean, it's got to be Quad. As much as I'm not a big fan, like listen. Don't get me wrong. He's done a lot of good things for the team over the years. He's been a serviceable guy, but I think it's time to just put the horse out the pasture and that's it.
Let's have some
call it
fun
a
here
day.
with the live chat too. Let's switch that one up a bit and say your life depended on a PK and you could pick any Juve player in history or whatnot. Who's the guy you're taking
Oh,
to save your life? One PK.
ADP every day,
ADP.
100%.
It's between ADP and Pirlo for me.
Oh, it's a
Pirlo's
good
pretty
one too.
money from the spot.
Yeah, it's a good one.
What about free kicks?
Pirlo.
You got a free kick. One free kick, crucial free kick in a game. You need somebody to take it. Who you taking? Cristiano,
Pirlo.
CR7 is money. Call for PKs
Oh, yeah.
because very rarely is he going to miss. Skanga went with Baggio. Great call. So free kick. Crucial part of the game. You could pick anybody. Juve's history. Who are you taking?
Pirlo
ADP
for
there
me.
again? Pirlo.
No, I'm taking Pirlo there.
Taking Pirlo there. Cool. Let's move away from Juve. And let's just say world football, whatnot. Same question. Life depended on a PK. Does it change from ADP?
Ooh. I don't know. Ronaldo was a good one too. No,
Yeah,
Brazilian
CR.
Ronaldo. No, Brazilian Ronaldo, not CR7.
R9.
R9.
I don't know.
I mean, I could never say no to like ADP stepping up and taking one. I would not say like no, give it to someone else.
Yeah.
Balotelli.
Anthony doesn't waver. Still Baggio for
Okay.
him.
Well, I mean, I'm skeptical on Baggio since he did miss one, a big one.
This
But
is a
we won't-
great shout,
we
by
won't
the
talk
way.
about that.
Sinisa Mihalovic for free kicks. Great shout.
How could you not pick Roberto Carlos?
For what?
Free kicks.
Depends where it is. If it's more to the right side where you can do his friggin' crazy outside of the
bomb.
boot bender. No.
His
No.
absolute bomb.
I'm telling you. I'm gonna probably stick with my guys. Stick with my guys there.
Okay.
Pretty good. But
Okay.
CR7's a good shout on PKs. Messi on free kicks, yeah. Yeah. Juninho. Does anybody remember Juninho on free kicks? Absolutely lethal. Would be a crazy shout. But yeah, it's always fun to see what everybody's thinking here. There you go. Now we got it. A Juninho shout on free kicks. Guy was legend on free kicks. Unbelievable. Pirlo all day long for
Yeah.
Aldo. Like the fun stuff branching out. But Juve, Napoli. It comes down to put our money where our mouths are and get to the predictions. Okay. You know the drill out here. Final score, 2 tiebreakers. What's happening? What's going on? Lucci, I'm going to put you in the hot seat and you're going to
Gee.
start us off on this.
Well,
Don't
to
fuck up.
all our betters out there, I'm gonna take a page out of Skanga's book. Juve are plus 210 to win this match, so that's some good odds if you're feeling confident in today's game at home. So maybe that makes a bit of a difference for you. With that said, I'm not that confident, so I'm gonna go a 1-1 draw. You know,
Oh,
yeah. So wow, okay, everyone's agreeing with me. I like it. Lovely, Alex. 1-1 draw. I'm gonna go 4 yellow cards, and the goal scorer. Oh Jesus. The goal scorer will be Malik today. He's gonna bag one against his former team, in my honest opinion. I hope he does and makes me look good. I'm good, right? 2 tiebreakers?
1-1. Milik to score.
Yellow cards. 4.
Huh.
Oh, I like Aldo shout. That's a good one, actually. That'd be great.
Moretti finally scoring.
That'd be
Really?
all a hype first goal, to be honest. Yeah.
I got to try and keep this streak going because, well, you can't even call it streak, but I absolutely nailed the last one.
You, you,
1-1 draw against Sporting, even called Rabiot as a goal scorer. I don't know. We had 1-1. I don't know if I'm feeling it being that low, but Juve
Really?
doesn't score a lot.
That's what I mean.
Do we have enough to maintain them at 1 goal? They also are skidding, but they've been eliminated from Champions League, and now they want to get crowned. They would love to pull the double on Juve. They're going to be after it.
Yeah.
I could see them. I think they'll for sure get 1, potentially 2. Question is, can Juve bag 2? Can they get 3 to win this? Because I actually do think Juve will need 3 goals today to win this game. So I'm
Jesus.
leaning towards a 2-2 draw or a 3-2 victory.
What is this, a double chance now?
So what's a double chance?
When you bet, double, draw or win, double chance.
No, it's not a double chance. I gotta just bite the bullet and go with 1. Today, 2-all draw.
Wow.
2-all draw. 2-2.
I mean, when's the last time we scored 2 goals? It hasn't been any time recently.
I'm trying to think. I think there was the game against, I think it was like 6 games ago. Was it 6 games ago? I'm just pulling it up right now. I'll have for you real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 games ago. Freiburg.
Yes, that's right.
2-0 win. So I thought it was 6 games ago, but there you go. There you go. Edgar's coming in here with a 3-2 Juve victory, so he does believe we'll get that 3 goals. I'm going 2-2 today. As far as some tiebreakers, red card. We will see somebody get sent off.
On what team?
I don't know.
I mean, hopefully it's Napoli, or else we're not going to score 2 goals.
Sure, let's call a red card on
Hey, man,
Napoli.
you pick
That'll
yourself.
help Juve equalize it because I think we'll have to come from behind to get to 2-2. 2-2 is plus 1,600, so we might drop some chicoria on that. Aldo coming in here 2-0. All right. Let's see.
Wow.
It's been a while since we scored 2 goals. I'm calling 2 goals today. 2-2 draw. Somebody sent off. And one of our goals will be from a defender. because these are the types of goals we score.
Rugani?
Okay? Scrambles in the area, offset pieces. That's how we'll get one of our goals. One of our goals will come from a defender, either one of the 3 center backs, and I'll even count the wing backs in that role. Okay? There you have it. This is going to be tough. I'm already nervous. Are you nervous about this?
Extremely.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it. I don't want those goddamn Chihuahuas having the double over us this season. Okay? So it's going to be some battles there. Luca's already super positive. Juan versus Kvara, Osimhen versus Rugani. Hey,
There's
Kvara's slowing down.
Relax, Luca. Like,
Kvara's
take it
slowing
easy, man.
down. Okay? And he's slowing down. I think the team in general, Napoli, is starting to...
And I think we're in a much
Calm
different
down.
spot than we were in that last match.
We're in a way different spot, but we shot ourselves in the foot left, right, and center that last game. But the problem is, this is my issue, is that we still suffer in a lot of the same ways that we were suffering at that point, and not enough has been corrected to make me feel really good about going into this one. It's going to be a big one. At least it's at home. We're going to have full stadium. I hope the place is rocking. Anybody that's tuning in, that's there, going to be there live and whatnot, come on, let's rock the house. Let's at least get behind the guys. None of this silence crap and whatnot. Get fired up. Get the team fired up. Let's see what we can do. I wish we can go into this with way more confidence, but look at that. What did we just talk about? It's been 8 games since we've scored 2. That is not good enough. Now, Napoli's actually good at the back as well. As of late, having some struggles and whatnot. But we talked about the Korean Monster being back for them and whatnot. That'll be a little bit of a boost. Couple guys in the midfield that are going to help them out. Up front, Osimhen is a handful. That's a handful. Rugani in. Little bit nervous there. I'd be lying. So it's going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one. But I am going to be back. I'm going to bring it to you live, okay? We're going to have some fun. Make sure you jump back here for the watch along. Everybody, whatever you do to try and bring Juve good luck on match days and whatnot, go and do it, okay? Pre-game rituals, all that. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can take this one. But, man, a little bit nervous about this one. Let's see what happens. Everybody take the second, like the video before you head out. Subscribe if you haven't already. We will see you all in a few hours getting ready for this thing, okay? I think I'll be going on about 20 to 25 minutes before kickoff. I want to see you all back here, and let's go through this one together and share the reactions. I hope that I can use the goal horn a bunch today, okay? Because I don't want to go down to these goddamn Chihuahuas, all right? Leafs win yesterday, absolutely. Juve win today. Let's go. Let's go. Juve, don't let me down. Don't let us down, all right? Finoallafine, Forza Juve. We'll reconvene around 11:20 my time, all right? Ciao tutti. Take care. We'll talk real soon.
Yeah.